Hi, how are you? I hope everybody's doing well. Let's talk about scripture. The scripture readings have been taken from the book of Proverbs, from the first letter to the Thessalonians, and the Gospel of Matthew. And in them, we hear the exhortation of Paul saying, "You are children of the light. You belong to the day. Stay alert, stay sober, and be always awake." That only those who are evil rest. They belong to the night. They belong to the darkness. A beautiful image that we see often, right, between the light and the darkness, right? Now, we have been offered in the scriptures a way to belong to the light, which is to be good, but for the right reasons. And that is by working with our talents, working with our treasure, right? And a good example for that is the first reading. And there was this wise man who figured it out and described it in his wife. All right, and that's why I'm gonna talk first about the first scripture reading, and then we'll go to the gospel. So there are things more valuable, it says the first reading, than precious pearls. The scripture reading says, charms are deceptive and beauty is fleeting. A man finds his treasure, his talent, his light, when he discovers the real value of a woman. Not because of her beauty, not because of her charms, but because of her ability to collaborate in his life, because of her ability to be a partner to his life, to improve his life by her mere presence. The first reading in the book of Proverbs called her worthy. I love the word that they use in one of the translations in Spanish. They call her hacendosa, which it really means in English a hard-working woman, an industrious woman, a house-proud woman, but the one that I love the most, a loyal woman, which is somebody who gives of herself with care and dedication, but most of all, with love. And that's what I love about the English translation, that it includes that love into the description of the woman. The values that are highlighted, and I will talk about 4 of them in the scripture readings, nothing have to do with her physical appearance or her beauty. The first one that I would like to talk to is when it says, he is entrusting his heart to her. His heart. She is loving and she is reliable. She is trustworthy. How important is for us to have loving and reliable people in our lives. People who do what they say, that say what they do. Someone who is committed to us and delivers. A person with whom one can relax just a little bit and release some of our burdens. A person with whom we can recognize a treasure because they are trustworthy. May we be able to serve others in a way that will bring them peace, that will relieve them, from their sufferings and burdens, even just a little. Then, when we are trustworthy, it's a talent because we have a wonderful effect on someone else's life. We enrich them. That doesn't mean that we make other people rich, but that we fill their lives with goodness and lessen their sufferings, the evil that they might experience in their lives. Isn't that amazing? The other thing that they say about this woman is that she works with loving hands. I love that they include that word, loving hands. She's not afraid to work, but whatever she do with love. She uses the resources at her disposal, and whatever she can put her hands on, she put them to produce. In our lives, the key to improve ourselves as a person is not so much who we are, it's not so much what we know, but is what we are willing to be, is what we are willing to do, is what we're willing to learn. It's not being afraid of challenges. Because the new and the difficult was new and difficult for somebody else at one point too. And they learned it and they overcome it. We have to remember that. So working with loving hands is a talent, it's a treasure. We should value it. The other gift that is expressed of her is that she reaches out her hands to the poor and extends her arms to the needy. She has a heart capable of being moved by the needs and the pain of others. In our lives, we sometimes refuse to open ourselves to others, to invest ourselves in other people's lives. Not because we're evil, not because we're selfish, not because we are lazy, but because sometimes we think that we have nothing to offer. But sometimes opening ourselves to others is to simply be a presence in the life of others, which has an enormous power. It's a talent, an enormous value. With the mere presence, we can soothe and heal pain. The last one is that they mention of her is that she is a woman who fears the Lord, which is not like the image that we might have that, she doesn't want to see it, or, she's scared of him, but that she has an intimate relationship with God and seeks, because she loves him, to please him. The fear of God is the one who gives priority to God in their lives. If we meet a person who genuinely loves God, it shows because they love. We want to surround ourselves with people who fear the Lord. That is, that they take God into consideration in every thought, in every decision, in every action. That's a talent. That's a treasure. The value of a person is in the depths of the being, not in how much we have, but who we are and how we become when we use what we have at our disposals. That is our treasure. That is our talent. The parable of the talents in Matthew remind us that each of us have them. Each of us have the capacity to be so much more than what we sometimes imagine in our limited view of our own humanity. What surprises us from this parable is that when we use our talents, they multiply. And when God realizes that they have multiplied, He gives us more. That God expects from us to work with ourselves, to discover the value of our own humanity, to discover what we have in our hands. That God has planted us in this world to grow and to bear fruit, not to basically kidnap or hide ourselves or shelter ourselves until we finally get the chance for our final encounter with God. Okay. Now, what would be a good tip for finding our own talents? I would say that we had it. Let's follow the example of the worthy woman, the industrious woman, as I like to call her. Let us be reliable, trustworthy in the small things, in the simple things. If we say, I'm going to call you, then we will call them. Let's work with love, keeping in mind that each effort, each action is collaborating with God. We are spreading the good in this world. We are letting God be known. Let us be compassionate to the pain of others. That doesn't mean that we have to empty our pockets. It's just sometimes acknowledging others people's suffering. When we acknowledge others people's suffering, we soothe their suffering right there. Let us be in a deep, loving relationship with God, what we call fearing the Lord. That is to take God into account for everything in our lives, that, to take God by the hand at every moment in our lives and wanting to please Him. Let's ask God for the gift, for the talent of loving Him and wanting to please Him. Yeah. Let us discover again who we truly are, how beautiful and talented, and the treasure that we possess. We all do. We are called to be children of the light, to be good. May God bless us all and let us be saints.